Welcome to program GTE Math Tutor. My name is Sarah Makibinosa, and today we'll be looking at the rules of signs. That is actually a part of mathematics that students fill out. They really don't know what signs are about. But the first thing we will do here is to look at the multiplicative rule and be able to extend it to every other thing. That's the basis of signs. The first thing here is to look at the multiplicative rule. So I'll just go here and write. So we'll just look at this very quickly. If I have plus sign and it's being multiplied by minus sign, what would be the equivalent sign? The equivalent sign would be minus. So if I have minus being multiplied with plus sign, the equivalent sign would be minus also. Now if I have a minus sign being multiplied with a minus sign, the equivalent sign will be plus. And if I have a plus sign being multiplied by a plus sign, the equivalent sign will be plus also. So in a nutshell, this go like same sign multiplies out to get plus sign, and different sign multiplies out to be, so we can take this two here like this. Different sign multiplies out minus sign, while same sign multiplies out positive sign. Alright, so that's exactly what we are establishing in this contest. We may want to take some few examples to illustrate what we are talking about. Okay, supposing I have minus 3 here, multiply minus 2. Good. Now what is going to be our answer here? The answer is this. First and foremost, signs can multiply themselves as well as numbers. So this sign will multiply itself, you have plus, then numbers multiply themselves, you have 6. Okay, so the first thing you establish here is to make sure you multiply out the signs followed by the numbers. So that is exactly what we're looking at, because signs can actually multiply out themselves. So if I'm having another questions like plus 3 times minus 4, what this will give is first and foremost, the sign multiplies themselves. You have minus 12 as your answer. So minus 12 is the answer for that very one. And we could take so many examples. I could take a stroke here and probably take minus 62, okay, times minus 1. This also will give us plus 62. The sign first and foremost multiply themselves, you get plus, then the numbers multiply themselves and you still get 62. So that's exactly what you're having. What if there are about 3 different terms? So you have minus 1 multiply minus 1 multiply minus 1. What this will be is we'll first of all resolve these two. Our answer here is plus 1, then times this very one now, which is okay, let me take a stroke. This sign is too long. Okay, So this will come down again and you have minus 1. And our final answer would be minus 1 in all. So this is our final answer. Alright, that's what we can talk about sign with multiplicative properties. Now let's talk about resolvation of sign. Resolving signs. Now what does it take to resolve signs? There are cases where we don't have multiplication in the question. Example, it's when you have let's take an example of what we're talking about. If I have minus 3 minus 2, in this case I'm not having multiplication in any of the two signs. It's just minus 3 minus 2, and this will be to resolve signs. So first we have to know how to resolve signs. So we can just write here in terms of sign resolvation, whenever two sign comes in between, okay, what you do, the resultant sign becomes let's see, combined sign, and here we have resultant sign. I'm writing sing again. Alright, here we'll go with resultant sign. Okay, now if I have minus minus, my resultant sign will be plus. Now if I have plus plus, my resultant sign will be plus as well. If I have plus minus, my resultant sign will be to minus. This is what we do. And if I have minus plus, my resultant sign will be minus as well. So that will just lead us to some couple of examples we'll be looking at. So if I have minus 3 minus 2, what I will have is this. Now minus minus is plus, which means I will add up these two signs. Now this case is only done when you don't have multiplication in between them. Remember, signs can be multiplied out, but here you don't have a multiplication in between them. So our resultant sign will be to plus these two numbers, and our answer will be 6. But that doesn't end there. What the largest number carries is what your answer will also carry. So the largest number of these two is 3. So that is the largest number. This is the largest number. Okay, so what the largest number carries will be what your answer will carry as well. So the largest number sign equals the result sign. Alright, that's what we're talking about here. The largest number sign equals the result sign. So if I take another example, supposing I have example 2, I have plus 3 minus 2. This will become, plus minus is minus, so I'll subtract these two numbers. That tells me what to do. So my answer is 1. Now the biggest number here is 3. So the sign it carries will be what my answer will definitely carry. So my answer will be plus 1. So that will be plus 1. We can take some more examples. Okay, let's go take some more examples here. Let's see example. Example 3 here. Sorry, this goes 3 and minus 3x plus 4x. What will it be? Now minus 3x plus 4x, we have minus plus here. The first thing we do is to find the resultant sign, which tells us what to do. So you have minus 3 plus 4x, which means you're going to subtract the minus plus is minus, so you're subtracting them. So 3x minus 4x is 1. Normally just go around like that, 1x. So we have 1x. Now what is the big sign carrying? Plus. So you have plus 1x, which can be written as plus x or x. Now what this simply tells us is this: if we have a value without a sign, usually comes at the beginning. If you have a value without a sign, the imaginary sign is positive. Let's take an example of what I'm talking about. Example 4. If I have 12 minus 16. Now, this 12 does not have a sign, so it is assumed that 12 has an imaginary sign of plus. That's the truth. The imaginary sign there is plus, so which means plus minus is minus. We minus these two numbers as usual. It doesn't matter the order of subtraction. You can just subtract the way you feel like, big minus small. Don't worry about it. You get 4 as your answer, but the biggest number here carries the positive sign, okay, which is minus 4 eventually. So our answer is minus 4. So what we have is 12 minus 16 is equal to minus 4. That is what we are having here. Now let me quickly tell you something. There is something about sign. The way numbers have been arranged, a sign precedes a number, and that precedes an alphabet. So if I have plus 3x minus 4y, as a matter of fact, this plus belongs to this 3 before the x, okay? So it belongs to 3x. Why this sign here belongs to 4 and y. So if we're going to group it, plus 3x is on its own, okay? Let's take that way. And minus 4y is also on its own. So that is the grouping. Plus 3x is on its own. They go together. Minus 4y is on its own. So the minus sign here belongs to the 4y, because the way number system is being arranged, the sign precedes the number before the alphabet. So if I have a question like this, let's say example, if I have minus 3 plus 6, who is having the plus sign? It is 6. So this 6, this is plus 6 and minus 3. The plus belongs to the 6, while the minus sign belongs to the 3. But all the same, we can solve that. Let's see, minus 3 plus 6. What that will give us is plus minus. Remember, there's no times in between this. Plus minus is just minus, which means you are going to minus these two numbers, you get 3. Then the big sign here carries plus, so your answer is plus 3. So this is the answer for that value. That is exactly what you do anytime you see signs and you're about to solve them. Now let's go further. We may have questions that combine both the multiplicative property and the resultant sign rule. A simple example of such question would be if I have minus 3 open bracket minus 4. Good. Now two signs cannot come together. Take note of that. Anytime you have two signs coming in between each other, it is assumed this is the same as saying minus times plus, because the bracket here refers to multiplication. Bracket in mathematics refers to multiplication. So what are we resolving? The first thing we need to resolve is the two signs that are together, this sign and this sign. Okay, we need to resolve that aspect. So what we will do is this. Our answer eventually becomes, we will have minus 3 minus times minus will be plus 4. So that's exactly what we are having here, and what we would have here eventually is minus 3 plus 4. Our answer now becomes minus plus is minus. This is by reservation because there's no time sign again. You have 1, then plus 1 because the biggest number here carries a plus sign. Okay, so that is what you do when you're having an example of such. Now we can take another example. Let's say we have 2 minus open bracket 3x plus 6. Okay, now what we'll do is this minus sign, who is having it? Is it the 2 or the whole of this? Now the first thing you need to know is to identify the owner of the minus sign, and actually the minus sign belongs to everything here. It does not belong to the 2, so you have to be able to identify that. Remember, the sign precedes any value. So here we'll have equal to 2. Now the minus sign is affecting everything inside the bracket. That's how it's outside the bracket, because affecting everything inside the bracket, you now have minus 3x. Now when it multiplies this plus 6, you will still have minus 6. That is a simple logic, because minus sign affects this one, you have minus 3, and it affects plus 6, you have minus 6. Now you can collect like terms, which eventually will be 2 minus 6 minus 3x. Remember, this minus belongs to the 6, so it will still come here, and the minus 3x is here. This one comes here, this one comes here. So I can just use a diagram to illustrate what I'm talking about. Alright, why the whole of this is what comes here. So it's just a simple illustration. What I'm having eventually is 2 minus 6 minus 3x. Now what is 2 minus 6? Here 2 minus 6, we can resolve this 2. 2 minus 6 will give us 4. But the big sign here carries negative, which is minus 4. So minus 4 minus 3x. Now minus 4 will not be able to subtract 3x because they are two different terms. So our final answer still remains minus 4 minus 3x. That's our final answer. I may take another example here, and it says minus 3 all in brackets multiply plus 2 all in brackets. Now what are you going to have in this case? There's a multiplication sign in this very one, so it's actually using the multiplicative property. First and foremost, you multiply out the sign, you have minus, then you multiply out the value, you have 6. So the answer is minus 6. And in a case where I have another example here, let's take this as example 1 and example 2, and I have minus 4 all in a bracket times minus 1, all in a bracket. What this will give is this. Minus times minus first and foremost will give us plus. 4 times 1 will give us 4. So that is our final answer. Here we'll be looking at some quick examples. The first one here is minus 6 minus 8. There are two negative signs here, and usually when you have two negative signs, what do? You just find the equivalent sign, which is positive, which means you are going to plus. Remember we said when you have two same signs, you add. So here I'll just do my normal addition, which I'm going to get 14. But the big number here carries a negative sign, so my answer also will be influenced by a negative sign, so that is minus 14. We'll go to the next question here. 2 minus 16. Now remember something, if you are given a number without a sign, take note, the minus here belongs to the 16. Okay, this 2 is not given its sign, doesn't have a sign. But usually when you have a number that does not have a sign, this always comes at the beginning of an expression. That number has a positive sign, so we will just write the positive number here. So this 2 has a positive sign, that's what it means. Now we'll go ahead to finish our work. Plus minus is minus, so we have to minus. Anytime you get a plus and a minus, what you do is that you subtract. So I subtract these two values normally, and we are getting 14. But the big sign here again carries what sign? Let's see, this is 16, is bigger than 2. The sign it carries is a minus, so my answer will become minus 14. And here I'm having plus 3 plus 6. When you have two positive signs, what do? You add up, and my answer will be 9. And the big number here carries positive, so my answer becomes plus 9. Now here we go. Plus 4 is put in a bracket. Sometimes they just use this bracket to confuse you and all that. Plus 4 is put in a bracket. Plus 4 minus 6. Well, it's the same thing. It's same as plus 4 minus 6. Doesn't matter. The bracket can be removed, so it becomes plus 4 minus 6. And this will be equal to, usually when you have plus minus, you subtract the numbers. You have 2, and the big number here carries negative, so you have minus 2 as your final answer. Minus 8 plus 4 is still very easy to locate. Minus 8 plus 4 we subtract, because there's a plus and a minus, two different signs, you subtract. So here we go, it will give us 4. Our big number here carries a negative sign, so we'll have a negative sign. Let's move on to something else. You can try some examples out in your notes. Now there is this aspect that we need to know. Say whenever you get two signs coming together in an unusual way, try to resolve the sign to a singular equivalent. Now this is exactly what we are talking about here. You can see that there is a plus and there is a minus. They come all together in an unusual way. You cannot have two signs coming together and you don't know which of them to use, because here we have two signs, we have to resolve it to one, because it's confusing. That's why we said it in an unusual way. We underline this word unusual. So it is actually very difficult to solve with numbers sharing two signs at a time. So what we are going to do here is that we are going to resolve this to minus 3. That one is on its own, that shows that it's in a bracket. Now plus minus, when you have plus minus, the resultant sign is minus, so it becomes minus 6. We cannot use the two at a time, so we have to resolve it to one sign. Now it's becoming minus 6. So our final answer here becomes minus minus is plus. You add the two numbers, so you have 9. Then the big sign here carries what sign? It carries negative, so our answer will become minus 9. This is our final answer. Now we'll go to the second example here. You still have two unusual signs here, minus and minus. They are coming together. They are very unusual, so we have to resolve them quickly. And when you are doing that, it becomes this one here. It doesn't, the sign is hidden. We could still take it 1. Now this is what we are resolving. Minus minus, so it becomes plus 8, and that will give us 9. Of course, plus 1 plus 8 is the same thing as plus 9. Now I may decide not to write my number because I told you whenever you don't write numbers in front of it, it is the same as a plus sign. I will look at some further examples. In this case, a bracket is not used to separate these two things, but you have two signs coming in an unusual way. Alright, so we are quickly going to solve this. It becomes minus 2. Now this is what you resolve. Minus plus is minus, so equivalent sign will be minus 16, and that becomes minus 2 minus 16. You add up the 2, which is 18, and the big number here carries, becomes minus 18. Now this is sort of an algebra. What we're going to do is to pick up like terms first. Here you have a value with an x, and you have another value with an x. So when you're picking your like terms, look at what you do. That's actually the emphasis here. This minus sign belongs to 3x, so it becomes minus 3x. Now you bring out the other x value, but it has a negative sign also, minus 4x. This minus belongs to the 4x, so it becomes minus 4x. I'm just rearranging. Then there's nothing else to bring down. Plus y, you can arrange plus y afterward, plus y, and this will become, now minus 3x minus 4x. What will it be? When you have minus minus, you add up, so it becomes 7x. But the big number here carries a negative sign, so my answer will be minus 7x plus y. X cannot be added to y. It's two different terms, so we'll leave our answer this way. Then here you have two unusual sign again, which has to be resolved as fast as possible. So these two signs need to be resolved, and my answer will become 24. Minus plus is minus equivalent, so minus 16, and this is going to give us, remember 24 has a positive sign here, although it is not shown. So you note that plus and minus will be minus, so you minus these two numbers, and when you do that, you are going to get 28. So 8, and the big number here carries a positive sign, so my answer will become 8 or plus 8. It depends. If you want to put the sign, fine. If you want to leave it as 8, fine. So this is my final answer.
Undying love you've given to me, seen in me things I would never have seen. I don't understand why you care so much. It's all a mystery. Time and time again I ask myself, what have I done to deserve such wealth? The price you pay I can never repay. Your generosity in wanting to save me, in order to save the day. Cause of love you place yourself in harm's way. It's truly beyond me, left without a word.